back the mic to Cass. I can see you're muting.
Th- Thank you very much, Buka and Comrade Mutiora for those opening statements. Maybe just so that the people understand, so that because there's been a lot of talk of people trying to make it look as though people are disorganized, trying to make it look as though there are people who have imposed leadership on themselves. There are people who do not understand. What do you mean by this national provisional committee of the coalitions of people's assemblies? How was this thing formed? Where was it? Was it talked about? Is it a closed group of Kenyans who are just, is it a bunch of influencers? I mean, how did this coalition come about? Because remember, when we usually meet on the streets, we say organize, 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 and the response is organize to take political power. So, Comrade Buka, in maybe a minute or two, could you kindly walk us through what this is? Because when I walk out here and I say that I'm the spokesperson of the National Provisional Committee of the coalition of people's assemblies, and Comrade Muthiora is also in a secretariat, and Comrade Sefusani is also in a secretariat. Kenyans might be confused, so could you kindly walk us through what was this like? Was this a small boardroom decisions of people who met on the streets and thought that they need to lead Gen Zs, or what is this, Comrade Booker?
Thank you. First, it's important that the the members of the coalition actually took the correct analysis that the only way the Gen Z will develop leaders are from the street and no other. So the discussions around reconsolidating the people's camp and making sure that the finest Kenyans that have come out in the streets and have shown their capability in terms of steering this great country to better heights come together. This coalition was born in the street, and it's actually a coalition that was born with the majority of the organized and unorganized forces that were actively engaged in street protest. And the reality is that when power finally falls in the street, power goes to the most organized persons. And that is why we are coming together to organize the people's camp. In fact, to draw the shadow parliament, the shadow cabinet, to draw, a government in waiting, and to advance steadfastly to our struggle. So the people and organizations that are engaged in these discussions of the post-Ruto era are actually men and women, daughters and sons of this country that met in the streets during the street protest. And what we are doing is that other than getting our dead bodies, our the dead bodies of our fellows from the mortuaries, or organizing burials for them, or even engaging in street protest, one of the primary duties is to also make sure that whenever the power falls in the streets, it does not go to the most reactionary class that continue to serve the Kenyan people. So this is work in progress. This is not complete. In fact, we are inviting every person that was on the streets. We are inviting every organization that was on the streets. And that is the reason why we are calling the National Provisional, a central committee for the People's Assembly. Provisional in the sense that it is still, under construction, and we have an open door policy, and the only qualification is that, are you a Kenyan patriot? Do you love Kenya to the extent that you are willing to put all your energies to rescue Kenya from this billionaires class? Then, if that is the case, then you belong to the coalition. And we invite you to come and have discussions around leadership of this country, that we can at once agree that there can be a competent, people driven government that is willing to put even its best people in the streets to be able to defend the gains that we have actually got, since independence. And that's what we are saying, is that this provisional committee, this provisional national committee, we need to expand it. The people's assemblies have happened and will continue to happen on Monday. We will have the 47 people's assemblies, and we are going to discuss clear issues on why we must ensure that the corruption in government does not continue. Why we have to make sure that no child, poor, no poor child living in informalized areas are killed extrajudicially with a rogue police. We want to say that we do not have time to wait, so that this political class continues to steal money to be able to think that they can bribe the Kenyan people in the next electoral process. So this is what we have to continue to advance. Customers.
Thank you, thank you. So, just for anyone who's listening and thinking that this is an organization that is a boys' club, or the can be likened to that billionaires' club the superficial billionaires' club you're hearing about in government. No, what we are doing is we've said it. We are absolutely tired of going to the streets and having our comrades killed for nothing. We're absolutely tired of going to the streets as individuals or individual organizations and having our members arrested for nothing, and then having other parties clamor for change. So that's why we've come together and formed this provisional committee. So if you're an individual or you're a part of an organization, part of now what we are also encouraging is for us to work as a team, because we've seen that anytime we keep on driving this whole disorganized agenda, the people laugh at us, and the people who are most reactionary and more organized people, which the politicians are, they come and they harvest the gains. They do a capture harvest of the gains. So we're encouraging any organization that would want to know more about this thing, to just any citizen of goodwill who would want to know more about this, just contact either of us, either Comrade Muthiora or Sefu or Booker, and they will give you more information. I would love